Welcome to the Manager Lab, where we delve into the increasingly dynamic world of talent management. In each episode, we will unravel key insights, break down the most relevant books and articles, and provide actionable tips to optimize your approach in developing and retaining top talent. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the art, science, and strategy of unlocking your team's full potential. Let's enter the Manager Lab. Today, we're diving into the very first and foundational principle from the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, the law of the lid. This law is simple, it's powerful, and if you truly embrace it, it will change the trajectory of your leadership forever. The law of the lid states this: leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. In other words, leadership is the lid on your potential. You can have vision, you can have drive, you can have intelligence, you can have incredible work ethic. But if your leadership ability is a 5, your organizational effectiveness will never rise above a 5. Your leadership sets the ceiling. And that's sobering, but it's also incredibly hopeful. Because if leadership is the lid, then raising your leadership raises everything. Now, the author here, John C. Maxwell, illustrates this with the story of the McDonald brothers. They built one of the most effective and efficient restaurant systems of their time. Their business acumen was strong. Their product was strong. Their systems were strong. Their leadership lid, however, limited their ability to scale. And then along came a guy by the name of Ray Kroc. His leadership lid was higher. His vision was broader. His ability to influence and mobilize others was greater. And under his leadership, McDonald's exploded into a global enterprise. Same product, same system, different lid. For managers, this truth is both challenging and liberating because it means this: if your team is underperforming, if your culture feels stuck, if your region isn't reaching its potential, the first place to look is not out there. The first place to look is in the mirror. Leadership is not about position. It's not about title. It's not about authority. It's about influence. And your level of influence determines how far your team can go. So let's talk about key takeaways for managers. Key takeaway number 1, your team will rarely outperform your leadership. As a manager, your team's ceiling is directly connected to your growth. If you're stagnant, your team will stagnate. If you're growing, they will grow. If you're complacent, they will feel it. If you're intentional, they will rise. Leadership isn't neutral. It's directional. You're either raising the lid or reinforcing it. Key takeaway number 2, technical skill is not enough. Many high performers are promoted because of individual excellence, but performance does not equal leadership. Leadership requires communication. It requires emotional intelligence. It requires clarity, courage, and consistency. If you were promoted because you were excellent at the work, now your work is people as a manager, and that requires a new level of intentional development. Key takeaway number 3, the lid can be lifted. Here's the inspiring part. Leadership ability is not fixed. It can be developed. It can be strengthened. It can be refined. You are not stuck with your current lid, and neither are your managers. So what are some of the actionable steps you can take today to start raising your lid? The first one is to assess where you are. Assess your current lid. Ask yourself honestly, how well do I communicate vision? How effectively do I coach and develop others? How strong is the trust on my team? Do people follow me because they have to or because they want to? So invite feedback here. Use a 360. Ask your peers and your team. Courageous leaders measure what matters, including, and maybe most importantly, themselves. Actionable tip number 2, invest in daily leadership growth. Growth doesn't happen by accident. So read consistently, listen to leadership content, Seek mentors, study great leaders, reflect weekly on what went well, what didn't go well. If you grow 1% every day, your lid will not stay where it is. The best managers treat leadership development like a discipline, not an event. And actionable tip number 3, raise the lid for others. As a manager, you're not just raising your own lid, you're helping your team raise theirs. Delegate intentionally. Stretch high potential employees. Coach, don't just correct people. Give people ownership, not just tasks. When you develop leaders under you, you multiply impact. And multiplication is where true organizational momentum begins. And finally, actionable tip number 4, model what you expect. So if you want accountability, model it. If you want ownership, demonstrate it. If you want positivity, embody it. If you want resilience, show it under pressure. Your behavior sets the temperature, and temperature is part of the lid. So let me leave you with this thought. The law of the lid is not meant to discourage you. It's meant to empower you. Because if leadership determines effectiveness, then your growth is the most strategic investment you can make in your team, in your organization, and in your future. You don't need a new strategy first. You don't need a new initiative first. You don't need a new structure first. You need a higher lid. And the beautiful truth is this. When you raise your leadership, you raise your culture, you raise your team's confidence, you raise your results, you raise what's possible. Leadership is leverage. So today, ask yourself, what is my current lid and what am I doing to lift it? Because the future of your team isn't capped by market conditions. It isn't capped by budget. It isn't capped by competition. It's capped by leadership. And that's something you can grow. Let's raise the lid. Well, I hope you enjoyed this chapter review in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. And until next time we meet in the Manager Lab, do good work.